Hello, everybody. Welcome to Monday Mentor. I'm Jen Whitmer, and I help teams and leaders solve conflict, cultivate communication, and really grow engaged and flourishing teams. And every week, I bring on a fantastic guest to share a bit of mentorship with you that will help you in your leadership and in your team. And I adore this person today. I cannot wait to introduce you to Mich. If you are local to St. Louis, I am sure you know her because I feel like she knows everybody every time I see her. But she is a fantastic human, and she owns a company called 100th Monkey. She is a fantastic storyteller and speaker. She is the co-founder and license holder for TEDxStLouis, and just a joy of a human. So I'm so glad that Mich is joining us today.
Hello, Jen. Thank you.
Hello. I'm so glad that you are here.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you for asking me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So if you are here live, just tell us in the comments that you are here live. If you're catching the replay, tell us you're catching the replay. Feel free to drop in questions as we go along, and we will make sure we answer them as we do our Monday Mentor session. So I always love to start with, how did you get here? So you own a company, you are a kind of a St. Louis local celebrity, you help us grow through TEDxStLouis and all those things. How did you arrive in this type of space?
What a wacky story, right? No. So honestly, I think that I was meant to be an entrepreneur. I mean, I know I was. I think that, I did work in a corporation for a while, and I didn't like it because I felt like things weren't moving as fast as I wanted them to move. And I felt like getting, a whole bunch of people to agree to move forward on something was like, oh, it's hard to be nimble in that sort of an environment. And I decided to start my company really when I saw social media and I started to understand where it could go. And I thought, wow, this is going to be like a thing. And this is really fun because, you don't have I kept thinking of posting, you don't have to write very much. You just get to write fun little quippy things and make sure you got cool pictures and, tell people what's up. I really felt like I just got it when it showed up. A lot of people, of course, were like, what in the heck is this? What am I supposed to do with it? What does it do for me? But I just felt like I could make something happen with it. And so I spent literally 30 days just learning about social media. And at the end of that month, I figured, now I know more than most people, so I'm going to start a company. I mean, it wasn't like you go to school for it. You couldn't take classes. So I did that. And so that's when I started 100th Monkey and just ran around and started networking and telling people I do social media marketing. And people were like, oh, you're so cute. Please don't talk to me about this. I have too much to think about with marketing. Please don't make it be another marketing thing I got to think about. But it ended up working out. And then TEDx was a few years after I started my company. A fellow marketer by the name of Bob Summers had contacted me and said, my brother, Steve Summers, is thinking about starting this thing called TEDx in St. Louis. And I thought of you. And I was like, that was exactly right. You should have thought of me. I'm a total TED head. So I met with Steve and him and I we pretty much hit the ground running. We both knew that we had a lot of passion around it. Felt like St. Louis really could use this. We're a little bit different than other TEDx's in that we don't draw people from other places. We draw people from St. Louis because, St. Louis just needs a lot of uplifting.
I love that story. And I think one of the things, I haven't heard the whole story before, I've only heard bits and pieces, that your foresight and kind of audacity to be like, I'm going to spend 30 days learning this, and then I'm going to start something. Like, that's a huge moment of what I would call valor and self-leadership. Like, what did you, like, in that transition time, can you go back there and what did it feel like to think, I'm going to start this new thing? Because it couldn't have just been one emotion. Like, what did you feel like when you were starting that new thing?
Oh my gosh. Well, it's everything, right? It's like, what am I doing? Like, you start questioning your sanity a little bit. But then the other part of it to me was, this is so fun. Like, this is going to be so fun.
Mm-hmm.
And, I had done other types of marketing. Weirdly, the marketing I did before was I was in event marketing. And again, when I got into that, there were no classes. Now you can go get like all kinds of fancy classes. You can in social media too. So I tend to take on things like, I don't know, there's not a class for this. Let me go figure this out, But I think the main thought was, this is really fun. I can't wait to do this. I think I can make a go of it. And so there's the honeymoon period. And then there's the part where you're like, oh, this is so much work, and then the unfun stuff starts happening, like accounting. No offense to accountants out there. I mean, not fun for Mich. You do not want me to be your accountant. That would have been a poor choice for me. But yeah, it was more just along the lines of, that a roller coaster ride. But I feel like entrepreneurship is like better than a self-help book. You're going to take yourself on every level.
Yes.
Every level. And so if you really want to like take yourself on, be an entrepreneur.
I completely identify with that. The biggest professional and the biggest personal development season of my life has been owning my own business, because it's you. And so there's so much that goes into that. And I think about, a lot of people are like, oh, but I don't want to start my own business. So like, you don't have to, but I bet there's a time where you feel like, I want to try something new, even within my company. And there's not a class for it, but I kind of see this thing. And you have that, what I call excited, nervous.
Exactly.
Space.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I guess I just want to encourage you, if you're listening, you can do that. Like, have you ever had that, tell us in the comments. You're like, oh, this is what I would dream up if I could get there. So just kind of let us know. So, as I think about that leadership capacity of like being brave and leading yourself, like, I'm going to try this. One of the things I have watched you do over time, I am not a native St. Louisan. I moved to St. Louis. Almost 25 years ago. But so I've watched this kind of like, ooh, Mich Hancock. I'm like, who's Mich? Like, I've just heard you and seen you around. And the reason that is because you have invested so much in our community. So, I mean, everybody who's listening, you have a community. And so what got you started in investing in your community, and how do you see that impacting you and others?
Well, I love St. Louis. I want the best for St. Louis. And so I recently, about 3 years ago, I moved downtown St. Louis because I was like, I'm so St. Louis. I'm moving downtown, which I love it, but I also know the issues. And I felt like, the only way that changes are going to be made is if you become a part of it, if you're involved in it. And I really do feel that one of the biggest parts of being a leader is serving the people first. So you can't really be a good leader if you're not in a place of service. If you're just like, I'm a leader and I'm so great, look at me, I'm a leader. Wait, who's going to listen to you? Like,
why?
you, yay, it's kind of like,
is anybody following you? I don't know.
Serving, you can't really be a leader, and you have to listen. And so it's, going to the town hall meetings and listening in on what people are working on and what they want to see for our community and becoming a part of that. On the TEDx side of things, I just think it's really important that we are showcasing bright, brilliant, amazing human beings doing very important work that, you come to a TEDx event and you're like, those are like people in my own backyard that are doing these incredible things, whether it impacts just the community of St. Louis or the nation, the world. I mean, it's very impressive. The people I get to talk to, I'm like so crazy excited I get to be a part of their world.
Yeah. Well, I think that leads me kind of, and sometimes to my next question, because I deeply believe in the idea of leadership as service. Like you have to serve your people, whether that's your team that you're leading in your organization, whether you're leading your family, you're serving those folks. You're not just like telling them what to do. That's a very different posture.
Yes.
And I can see how your investment in the community has benefited our community. Like that's an easy line to draw.
Thank you.
And first of all, having a great TEDx event where we learn, you get to showcase, there's ideas that come from that, but also your investment in other ways benefits your local community. How do you see that involvement benefiting you? What have you seen from yourself from investing in others in that way?
Oh my gosh. I mean, I have a lot of fun. I
think we would have fun wherever we went.
I have fun. But I also think that at like one of my core big things is curiosity. I am so curious. So the fact that I get to meet all these amazing people and ask them questions about their life and what are they doing and how did they, like I had a few months ago, I had a podcast with a gentleman named Barry Goldman, who is doing this whole thing around taking CO2 out of the air and putting it back into the soil. And during the podcast, I asked him, like, well, what is it? I mean, is it like in a container, like you shake it around on the soil? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, really? And so he's like, do you want to come to my lab and see what we're doing? Yes. So I get these really cool opportunities by being that curious and getting to be in front of these curious people, people that not curious, but amazing people that I can check out what they're doing, like learn more from them. Mm-hmm. And I'm such an information hog that I'll just take it. I was like, oh, I love this. This is so cool. What do you do? Can I come to your place and check it out? So I love just the behind the scenes, the learning, I've got a very curious mind. So that's probably what keeps me going most of the time.
Well, one of the things, I mean, this is a conclusion I'm drawing, so I'm kind of making a little guess here, because curiosity is one of my core values as well. And I use it when I'm training teams around communication and conflict. I would love to hear what you think about how your practice of curiosity in meeting new people and investing in your community has impacted the way you lead 100th Monkey. How do you think that curiosity transfers?
Well, let's see. On 100th Monkey, I think, we are not a social media marketing company for just one type of industry or, you know what I mean? We are open to everybody because we look at it as human to human, communication. So I have gathered around me, all the people that are part of 100th Monkey are also really curious. So they love when we get some new company. I'm like, you guys are not going to believe what this company does. I didn't even know this existed. And then we get all excited. So, there's always a reason to be excited and have fun and be a part of something. And, I think it's the same with TEDx. It's just that I feel like the leadership is, who do you know? What do you find interesting? Who should we bring into the fold? Our speakers come from auditions, but also from our own team. They're like, hey, I met this and I think there's something there and we all should talk to them. So I think that my leadership style really is we're a team, and I want to hear everybody's opinion, because if it was just Mich, it wouldn't be as exciting. It wouldn't be as inclusive. There wouldn't be, that openness of who else can we bring into this fold to make a part of our world? Yeah.
I think when I'm listening to you talk and the fact that you bring curious people with you, you're like, you could, because I know, some of the people on your team absolutely are not the visionaries. They're the implementers. You are the idea generator. That's like who you are.
Thank goodness for implementers. I need
amen
them.
And hallelujah. I mean, my EA, I love her. So like, but the implementer is still just as curious. Like that combination, that aligned values really helps a team cohesiveness. We have different roles, but aligned values create such a powerful team. And I think you've done that.
And they see things you're not going to see. you
Yes.
know? And so that's the other thing. Like they'll have a different perspective on something that'll just bring more to the table for the client and for us.
Yeah. So I'm curious as I think about, as we've had leaders listening and, they're like, I've got so many meetings and, I've got a family and now you're telling me to be curious and invest in my community. Like that can feel a little overwhelming. Where would you, if you were going to give a suggestion, like, hey, just try this little thing, where would you tell people to start if they want to start investing and being curious about their own communities?
Well, I think it's lead with your heart. Where is your
Yeah.
heart? What speaks to you? What do you look at and think that could be better? And it doesn't have to be something huge. It can be something. It's just like, in my own neighborhood, this could be better. Why don't I get people together and we'll have a cleanup day or what have you? It's like, think of, and it is still a big, you got to organize everybody, pick the date, get everybody to, whatever, but pick something that just feels right to you and that feeds your soul. Weirdly, and this is, I used to think people were crazy when they would say, if you want your life to be easier, meditate. I'm like, I have this time. Who has time for meditating? I'm very busy. But I have found that dedicating yourself to really taking that time to meditate actually makes everything go smoother. Weirdly,
I
things just
agree.
magically get done in a much easier way. I don't know why. It's magical. It's just magical.
I agree with you. Well, I think one of the themes I'm drawing from this conversation, and I love that this is what has come out, is that it doesn't have to be drudgery. Like when you have people together that are aligned in values, there's excitement. That's what you've shown us on our team. And when you've got a curiosity around things, there's an excitement about learning something new. When you start with what's the thing that pings my heart, that joy and connection starts to come. And so the drudgery, while we all, believe me, the task list, I'm going out of town again next week. I got to find somebody to take the kids places. I get it. But there's also like, but when we're connected over that, this could be exciting together. Work doesn't have to be drudgery. It can be exciting.
It's so drudgery and all of that is kind of fear-based. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so whenever the thing that I have been actively working on is whenever something comes up, like, for example, my hip started hurting. Well, what starts happening? Oh no, my hip hurts. Oh no, I could have this, that, the other thing. I'm going to end up with a hip replacement. Like you start getting all crazy about it, right?
Spiral.
Don't do it. So
Yes.
what I'm doing now is as soon as I hit a fear play, like when a fear starts, I'm like, whoa, whoa. And then I just start going with love. I love my hip. My hip is awesome. Here's why I love this hip, and I have found that showing up more so with the love it just seems to make life better.
Absolutely.
And getting out of that fear spinning, because that's all over.
Yeah.
There's fear everywhere. Wake up and watch the news. Oh my gosh, So rather than getting fearful, like, oh my gosh, the world's going to end soon or something, send love to the people that are hurting. Just send out the love.
I love that, Mich. That's just such a good wrap up for who you are in your community and as a leader. And I just so appreciate our friendship and you being willing to come on today. And because it's time for us to stop. I would just love for you to tell the people where to find you. I mean, this is Mich's company website, but you do all kinds of great things. So tell the people where to find you and how to connect with you.
Awesome. Well, the best way is LinkedIn. I mean, I'm on there all the time. I'm on LinkedIn. There's not very many Mich Hancocks out there, so I'm really easy to find. So I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I'm on TikTok.
Yes, she is.
I love social media, so it's a good place for me to be. And connect with me. I love connecting with people. And again, I'm curious. Tell me what you're all about. Let's talk.
Wonderful. Well, thank you again so much for coming on and really giving us so many nuggets of wisdom today. I
Thanks,
really
Jen.
appreciate that.
Mwah,
Yeah,
love you.
absolutely. Yeah. Well, everybody, thank you for being here for Monday Mentor. We'll be back next week with Michael Sonberg and talking about rebel culture and how do you build a healthy culture and change management through that. He's pretty fantastic. So I can't wait for him to be on next week. Mich, thanks again for being
Thanks,
here. I'm
Jen.
so glad. Bye,
Bye,
everybody.
everybody.
See you next week.